After years of decline, interest in news has actually increased, placing Australia well above the global average according to the 2026 Digital News Report from the University of Canberra. So consumption has risen to 56%. That's up by 8%, with 18 to 24-year-olds leading the growth. The findings also highlight the role influencers now play, with 43% accessing news from individual creators. Nearly 10% of Australians use generative AI chatbots to consume news, and 49% believe public services media such as the ABC and SBS have a positive effect on life, well above the global average of 36%. And Caroline Fisher is the co-author of the report from the University of Canberra, and she joins us now from Canberra, of course. Caroline Fisher, welcome. So the most interesting things seem to be happening with the younger demographic in this report. For the first time, a higher interest in politics than the older generation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the under 35s are really leading the charge this year, and it's a really nice change because for years, we've been doing this report for 12 years now, and year upon year we report the fact that actually younger people and women feel really underserved by the news media and that their interest is low, and so it's really refreshing to see this turnaround with big growth in interest and consumption amongst these younger cohorts.
And so does a greater interest in politics necessarily mean they're seeking out more news?
So interestingly, I mean, you might think it's not connected, but actually that's strongly connected. There's a really strong correlation between being interested in politics and being interested in news. So we know, year upon year, it shows us that the more interested you are in politics, the more interested you are in news, and also the more likely you are to pay for it. So there's a very strong connection.
And where are they going for that news?
Well, they're digital first, they're social first. So young people in particular are going very strong video consumption. So they're going to YouTube, they're going to TikTok, and they're certainly consuming a lot of video. Podcasts are very strong, and they're going to digital-only brands, things like the Oz Daily. But we are also seeing them pay for traditional news brands that they trust, like, for instance, the Sydney Morning Herald, the Australian, and of course, increasingly, they're coming to public service media.
And what's the percentage of this audience is going through influencers to get their news? And is it the influencers' opinion of news they're getting or news itself?
Okay, good questions. So it's about 43% of Australians overall are getting some of their news from creators and influencers. But for this younger cohort, the 18 to 24s, it's 70%. And they say they go to it, they like it because it's more relatable, it's more understandable, and it's easier. Yeah, it's easier to understand. And sometimes it also reflects their point of view. And so for them, that's very attractive. But it doesn't meet all of their needs. So they say that, it's meeting some of their news needs, but it doesn't meet all of their news needs. So traditional media shouldn't despair entirely. They are still coming to traditional news brands to get some of their hard news. But for opinion and for interpretation of complex events, yeah, they're really enjoying getting their content from creators and influencers.
And did you go to the content of what they're getting through the influencers? Is it influencers quoting news from news organisations, or influencers just giving their opinions on news?
So we did ask about a range of influences they're going to, and a lot of it is opinion-based, so it is about interpretation, and some of that, of course, is political and polarised, and so people are looking for interpretations of the world that reflects their own worldview, of course, but some of the creators are also generating some original news content. So there is a mix, but overall, it is opinion.
Yeah, are you willing to give any opinion about that? If that's such a large proportion of these people are using this as a news source, and it's actually opinion rather than news?
So I think what we're seeing is if they were only going to influencers and creators on their own, I think, yeah, absolutely, let's be really concerned. But what we're seeing is that it's an adjunct to, an otherwise a broader news diet. In fact, what we're seeing is that 18 to 24s, they're using more than 7 news brands to get news from. And so, in fact, they've got a wider array of news inputs than, say, older generations. So, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. So creators and influencers are just another source of information and interpretation that's helping them understand complex events, but they are also getting news from traditional news brands.